Hello everybody, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV Live. We are on Facebook with Sue Bowler. Sue, say hello to everybody.
Hi everybody.
For those of you out there that are not familiar with Sue, she has been in the industry a number of years and has been down here to Balloon Market and done some filming with us in the past, but she's had a very distinguished career within the industry. So for those of you that don't know who Sue is, Sue, do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about you?
Sure. I've been in the balloon industry now for, 1990 was when I joined the balloon industry, so we're looking at about 27 years. I started off as a decorator, running my own business from home, and then I wasn't sure whether the industry was for me because I wasn't making any money. I think I've told people that, and it's a very, very true fact. But having been given the sort of impetus to push myself a bit further forward, and I did my I actually took part in the QBN program, the Qualitex Balloon Network program, became a CBA. Not immediately, I'm talking over a period of time. I actually became a CBA in '96. So, it was quite a long period into that. And then I started attending balloon conventions, and at that point, everything changed and my business really started to take off, and my journey into the balloon industry really, really flourished. So from there, as I said, I used to go to conventions, and I was approached to do some teaching for Pioneer Balloon Company, the maker of Qualitex. And so really that's where my career sort of really started to change. I'm actually a professional instructor anyway, that is my background. So putting balloons and teaching together was a really good combination for me. In 2002, I was offered a position with Conwyn, and so I worked with them for 8 years, which was a very interesting time in my life, working, teaching and working with equipment. I really enjoyed that journey, and then I stopped doing that, and then I started to become probably almost a full-time instructor once again for Qualitex. And I have several roles with Pioneer. I write a blog, for those of you who don't know.
The very best balloon blog.
The very best balloon blog, which I love to write. And as I said, I'm very actively involved in teaching and training around the world. Yeah.
Excellent. Very concise. Thank you. So what we're trying to do today is, use this as an opportunity to ask Sue some questions. As she says, she's been in the industry for more than a couple of years and has got some great knowledge, great experience, and you have done a number of amazing designs yourself, including your Tiffany lamp that we showed on BMTV. It was a year ago we filmed that interview.
Wow. So
there is an interview with Sue, if you've not seen it. It's BMTV, I don't know, last November I think we put it out there, but it was. I really enjoyed talking to you that day.
Thank
it was
you.
Good. And so any questions that you've got, just leave a comment down below, and we'll get round to asking some of those questions. There is a buzzing sound in the mic, apparently. Linda is saying, Rob.
I sorted that out. It was the charger cable.
We've sorted that out, Linda. It was the charger cable. Sorry, I'm looking at the computer. I need to look up there because that's where the camera is. And good morning, David. Any questions you've got for Sue? Anything that you want to know about how she got to be here? Some of the tips, equipment, anything. What else? What else could people ask for?
How I find my inspiration, maybe.
Where you find your inspiration. Anything. Any questions you? Some of you might have experienced Sue's training. So what sort of? Have you got any questions from that training? Do you need any clarification on anything? Just leave your questions down below, and we will ask some of those questions as we go through. But until there are some questions, Sue, obviously it's a year since we had that chat. What have you been doing in the last year?
It's been an incredibly busy year. It's been fun. I think probably one of the biggest things that's happened this year is the world tour, the Qualitex World Tour. I was fortunate enough to be offered 3 of the locations, and I kicked off the European leg in Belgium in March.
Okay.
And during the summertime I went off to South Africa, and then I've recently just got back from Sweden and did my final one there, which was really fun. Really enjoyed that. So I enjoyed them all. They were amazing. Every location is very different delegates and different expectations, and I think the more you do something, the more you get out of it, and the more you can give, because you become more familiar with it. We also, I've been running other courses for Qualitex this year. We've been running Wedding Series 3, which has been very successful. And also we kicked off the end of the year with a course called What's Hot Right Now, which I really have been enjoying. And I know we've had some really good feedback from that course, where we were just really looking at all the current trends and looking at designs that work well with those trends. So we were playing around with some organics and obviously personalisation. We just built, did some balloon walls, and we made a rainbow, and it was a really fabulous course, and I think we'll be continuing to run that next year. And the great thing about that is it's not one of the Qualitex core classes, it's a master class, which means that we can chop and change it around. So if suddenly we have a new balloon come in that we want to show and give some good ideas from, we'll actually be able to just change some designs out. So and now I'm very much focused on the World Balloon Convention for 2018. So next year, we'll be going to San Diego, and
next March 2018. That's only a few months away.
I know. It sounds.
That's come along really, really quickly.
Tell me,
it was last year we started talking about it, and Mark from Pioneer came and he was talking about it, and we just thought, that's so far away, you don't need that. And now it's just a few months away. It's crazy.
My class notes had to be submitted last Friday. So, and now I'm just working on my product list. So we have to work months and months in advance to make sure that we've got, it's so important that we have really good information for the delegates, and really top tips. And so I think currently one of my class notes looks a little bit like War and Peace, so I might get I might get told off for that. I'm not sure how many pages it's supposed to be, but I think I'm on about page 20, I think.
Wow.
But that actually is a class that I'm very excited about, because it's never been done before at WBC. It's the CBA refresher course or revision course. So we're running it the day before the CBA exam. And anybody who's taking their exam on the Wednesday can come along on the Tuesday afternoon, when people are sort of just arriving at the convention, and they're welcome to drop into this class, and hopefully that I shall give them 2 hours of really good, helpful information and tips and hints that will really calm them down for the next day, and just maybe cover some things that they might not be so sort of confident to do. So no, it's good. It's been a fabulous year, really. I've had some wonderful opportunities to travel to some great countries, and meet some fabulous people around the world. So
do you get to see any other country, or is it literally off the plane to wherever, do what you've got to do, back on the plane?
It can be. It depends, really. I mean, when you've got a busy schedule, to be honest, you have to literally fly in and teach and come home. And but if we can, I mean, for example, when we were in South Africa, we didn't have any extra days, but the day that we were flying home, our flight wasn't till 9 o'clock at night. So the distributor was lovely. I mean, he took us off to a safari park, and it was, and we had some amazing opportunities that day. So we try and find those opportunities. We don't generally add in many days, if any. It depends on where we go. I mean, if you're travelling a long way, we do try and add in a day just to enjoy the area that you're in, because it seems such a shame to not see the country. But I have had experiences where I've literally got off a plane, been taken to a hotel, taught a class, got back on the plane and come home, and I could have been teaching anywhere. It wouldn't matter. But that's the luck of the draw, really.
That's the wonderful fantasy world that is business travel.
I know, yes, at the back of the plane.
Let's see if we've got any questions. Okay, so everybody, I'm just looking at the laptops here, so there's a few questions now, so I'll scroll through them and we'll see what we've got. All right, so Tahira, looking at selling balloons next year on your website, what would you recommend in terms of ranges, categories, etc.?
I think it depends. When you're starting off a balloon business, I think probably the most important thing is to decide what your target market's going to be. So when I can be really specific on this, because when I started my business initially, I literally just sold balloons in boxes, and I set my balloon business up 2 weeks before Valentine's Day and did really good trade for Valentine's. You know, I don't know if you understand the concept. So you can get these beautiful boxes and we can put a balloon in there and it's this lovely surprise. And once Valentine's Day had gone, it was like, oh, so what are we going to sell now? And although people obviously do have birthdays, because I worked from home, you know, you have to, I think people believe that working from home is easier than having a premises, but in reality it's not, because you've got to work so much harder at being visible. So you have to invest a lot of time and effort in terms of your marketing. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, I then went into balloon deliveries and literally, and it grew and grew and grew. So I think the first thing really is to establish what you're trying to achieve, and then so if it is going to be balloon deliveries, then obviously you're going to be looking at things like foil balloons, bubble balloons. You'll need a little bit of latex, but not a huge amount, because obviously you want collars and things like that. So, you know, once you've worked that out, I think you can really establish what you're looking to do. And obviously you'll need equipment. If you're investing in equipment, make sure that you have a regulator that can inflate both foil and latex balloons, because you can waste a lot of money overinflating a foil balloon using a latex outlet and causing yourself like problems there. So you know, go on a course, I don't know where you're based. If you're based in the UK, try and go on a fundamentals course. Qualitex run a fabulous course, 1-day course, and that really gives you all the ground knowledge that you're going to need. So it'll teach you things like how much gas goes into a balloon, and costing, and how to tie a balloon correctly, just all those fundamental techniques that take you a long time to learn if you don't do it in a course. So that would be my advice there. Okay,
so there you go, Tahira. I don't know, if depends what kind of website. Oh, you're based in London, so yeah, that's perfect. Is your website, are you selling flat balloons? Are you looking to do deliveries? Give us a bit more information, Tahira, that'd be great. If you are selling them flat, selling bags of balloons the way we do, I'd say the larger the range. I'll keep looking at the computer. The camera's over there. The larger the range you have, the better, really. So that would be, well, I would say look at what's hot, look at what's on our website. For instance, on the Balloon Market website, you normally talk about what's hot on the front page. And from your experience, what is hot? You say what's hot right now? Oh, what's hot right now? Organic, you were saying. Organic style decor is very, very hot. It's, you know, it's an interesting concept. I'm still getting to grips with it, but it is definitely a trend. Confetti and balloons, 3-foot balloons, giant balloons are huge. Greenery is very, very popular. What else would there be? Oh gosh, we would very much in terms things like pineapples. So it's all the current sort pineapples, flamingos, rose gold. Rose gold, of course. So Tahira's got back and said flat balloons initially, but really want to sell as inflated as presents. That's the way to go. Erica has asked here as well, I'd also like to know where the real money is in balloons. That's an interesting one. Where is the real money? Well, I suppose it really depends on what you're doing, because I mean, a decorator, for example, can be phenomenally successful. And you know, when a decorator does a big corporate event, you know, there is a lot of money to be earned from those events, but you've obviously got to grow your skills and your market for that. Equally, somebody can be doing you know, a good
sort of online business as well. So I think really you've got to find your strengths. So you can't be the master of everything. You've got to work out what your strengths are. And you know, there are some phenomenally successful decorators, and there's some phenomenally successful online businesses, and they are making good money. You know, I never had a shop. It's something that I felt that I would have loved to have had, but because my career took me down the teaching path, it was something that I felt that wouldn't work for me at that, you know. And it's something still in my heart that I think, oh, it would have been lovely, because I just think, again, if you had the right shop that offered the sort of all the right lines, and you were appealing to your demographic clients within your area, I think you could be phenomenally successful there as well. So I think it's really, it's an open question where the money's from. It really depends on you. Yeah.
I mean, I know there are people in the industry that have taken the bubble balloons and they have really gone with those, and that based their business entirely to start with on bubble balloons and selling them at a premium. So that could be a place to start. As Sue says, I agree. I think it's what you're good at. Do more of that, and you'll win. Now, Rob, we've got. I can only see the last 4 comments, and I'm not sure how.
So, what's the best way to market your business? I was asked by Richard.
Okay, marketing your business. This is a really.
So I better repeat that.
Sorry, you better add. Sorry, yes.
Richard, thank you for your question. Has asked, what's the best way of marketing your business?
I think today we have so many fabulous opportunities to market our business, but it's something that's going to take us time. So, for example, obviously most people have a professional Facebook page, so they're going to have a business page, and Facebook is a really good way to communicate to your local market and build up a community on your Facebook page with them. If you're trying to expand outside of your area, then the most important, or the most successful social media outlet at the moment appears to be Instagram. And I have spoken to a serious number of decorators worldwide, and they are telling me that Instagram is the way forward, and it's what's bringing in them business. The thing with Instagram, and you've got to understand, is that it's about lifestyle, and it's not just about showing a balloon. So, you know, if you look at, if you do a little bit of research and look at some of the Instagram accounts that are very prolific, and you'll see the style of photographs that they're posting, you'll see that they're selling a concept. So it's just this beautiful image. So you have to invest in terms of, you know, you're going to have to do some really good photography. Something that I'm suggesting to people now is that just to invest a little bit of money in maybe a photography course, just so they get the basic skills on how to take a good photograph. Because again, those people that are doing well are posting out fabulous photographs. I actually wrote a blog about setting up an Instagram account because Instagram was a bit of a mystery to me. I'm very much a Facebook user. And I thought, no, I need to understand this a lot more. And so I wrote a blog about it, so they can easily go to the blog and download it and have a look at it. But there was a really good infogram that I found on the network, and it gave a month plan on how you should run your Instagram account. And it really just proved that it's not just about posting photographs of products, it's about you, it's a story. So for example, now when we teach a class, I always say to the delegates, let's have some really good photographs of you working on a project, and then you can use that on your Instagram account just to show you and the human side of your business. And then it talks about like posting a promotion one day, and it's a really, I think it's a very structured way to help you understand what you need to do to actually get your Instagram going.
I think with Facebook and Instagram these days, it's about you can almost have that one-to-one communication, and we're talking to people, you're asking us questions, it's a one-to-one communication. And I think that comes across a lot more on Facebook now, and you can do things like this. You can create little videos, so if you are out at a venue and you are creating something, hi guys, just wanted to show you what I'm doing, and then people buy into you. I was watching a very interesting plumbing video at the weekend, and it was very interesting. It was how to put sealant around the bottom of a shower, and I'd not pay the guy to do that. He's probably not local, but if he was local, the way he came across, his personality, his professionalism, if I had anything bigger from a plumbing point of view, I feel I know him already, and I can go to him. And things like that, when you can post things like that on Facebook and Instagram as well. And the other thing, of course, I would say is Facebook advertising, where you actually pay to advertise on Facebook. The demographic targeting on that is fantastic. So
I think the one thing that I do believe is that none of us really spend enough time on our social media campaigns, because we sort of almost consider it takes too long, but you really need to invest that time. I mean, the great thing about social media in that respect is that that is a free facility that we've got, but you're going to have to invest the time and money to make that work for you. I don't know if magazine advertising works very much anymore. I think it's all about what people see on the internet.
yeah.
People are, they're buying with their eyes on, what they see.
I think we're at the very beginning of what the internet is going to be.
Absolutely.
So,
but yeah, Instagram, Facebook, that's one of your biggest marketing tools. But give it the time and learn about it. Really do learn about what you're trying to do, because some people, I see people posting the same message on lots of pages at the same time, and it's completely wasted because it actually overkills what they're doing. You've got to have a format, you've got to know exactly, there are stats that tell you when are the best times to post versus, I think it's something like a Tuesday morning in the UK is one of the best times to post, whereas a lot of people might post in the evening or at the weekend. And it doesn't have the same effect. So you've got to do your research as well.
Yeah. We've played with that with putting out BMTV every week, and we found that Thursday is a good day to put it out. Yeah. And I'm not sure why, I couldn't tell you why. No. But it'd probably be very different if you were in a different industry putting out a similar sort of show. It could be Monday mornings. Absolutely. So you've got to experiment. Okay, we've had a few. Nina says, Facebook and Instagram are a great platform. Thanks, Nina. They are. Is that where you get most of your business, Nina? It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
And Linda, you've said that you work from home. 99% of my customers come from Facebook. Is there any point in having a shop front?
You'll be capturing a whole different audience. So, I think a shop front has so much potential, and your actual window is a 24/7 advert. You're not getting that 24/7 advertising anywhere else, and you're actually, people are seeing you that wouldn't necessarily find you on Facebook, because it's when somebody walks down the street and they actually they see something in a shop window and they suddenly think, oh, never thought of that, and then it changes their idea. It may not be a sale for that day, it might be a sale for a month down the line. It may inspire them for a party or a wedding. So, yes, definitely there are different reasons for having shops. Excuse me, I'm going to cough.
That's okay. I think the other thing with a shop is it depends on what your lifestyle is. If you're busy, if you've got a family, if you work around your family, etc. With a shop, as soon as you have a shop front, you've got a commitment. And I'll tell you a little story. I went to a barber shop. You okay?
Yeah, just got a tickle.
I went to a barber shop that I usually went to, and I went there early doors, and I knew he opened at 8:30. I got there at 8:30, wasn't there. It's okay, I'll pop round and have a walk around the village, and went back at 8:45. Still wasn't there at 9 o'clock, so I never went there again. But that commitment is, if you've got a shop front, you need to be open when you say you're going to be open. So there is that, and then of course there's manning it as well if it's not just you.
Oh yes, I mean there are owning a shop and running a shop is a huge commitment, but it has it gives different opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Diane, you're home based, new to balloons, had an error at the weekend with a foil balloon display, and your message has just gone off my screen. So did you write that one down, Rob?
I can only see like the top half of it.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Can I see more of them? I see all. Here we are. I think I'm going to be able to see them all now. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So what did you find most daunting or intimidating about starting out?
Who's that from?
It's from a couple of people actually. So Erica and Diane said something similar.
What did you find most daunting? And what was the other word, Rob?
Intimidating.
Intimidating when you started out.
I think probably when I first started out, it wasn't just when I first started out, I mean this went on for several years, is that I had no concept at all into how to run a business, and I certainly didn't know how to cost my work. It really was guesswork. The most intimidating thing I think for me, I can remember, I don't know if it's the words intimidating is the right word for what I'm going to say, but was going on a job and not knowing if I'd have enough helium, for example, and because I didn't understand how much helium that you needed to put in balloons. So did I need 1 cylinder or 2 cylinders for a job? So I suppose really that for me was the worst part of starting up, was not having the right knowledge and not knowing where to get that knowledge from. Bearing in mind when I started we didn't have the internet. I'm just going to make me sound really old. But seriously, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the resources that we do today. Everything that we learned then was through courses, and there weren't a huge amount of courses then either, and they weren't structured in the same way as they are today, so they were more sort of design led rather than without any business content, whereas today we make sure that there is a certain amount of business content in all the courses that we teach, because we know that people need that information. I think for me, my saving grace, as I've said many times, was the Qualitex Balloon Network program, the QBN program, because it actually opened my eyes and taught me how to cost my work. And it was a huge revelation for me to actually see, wow, I should be charging this, and I knew that I wasn't charging anywhere near that amount for my work. So and it gave me the confidence then to be able to say to my customers, this is how much this job will be, and do a quote that I knew that I would actually not just cover my costs, but I'd now make some profit as well. And so that was huge.
I think it's always daunting whenever you start in your business, because you're taking a step that the majority of people in the world do not take. So you are stepping into the unknown. So even with the internet, you can find out information very easily.
I think that one of the other things was I was very afraid of competition. And in fact, what happened to me was somebody who was a customer of mine suddenly started doing balloons, and I found that really sort of wow, and sort of wow, how am I going to deal with that? And it was probably one of the best things that ever happened, because I felt that even though at the time I felt upset that I had competition, I had somebody locally and I had somebody in the town who had opened a shop. Now people were seeing balloons in much more than I was doing, so the demand for balloons increased. And I, rather than fight it, I embraced it. So I actually made friends with my competitors, and to the point that when we did big events in the town, we would do them together rather than in competition with each other. So I think sometimes people get worried about different things, but if you deal with them in a logical way, you can actually make it work to your advantage.
I think definitely there's fears, whatever there might be, the financial fears, not having enough money, not knowing how to manage it, and I think it all boils down to not knowing what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So in this day and age, with the internet, with training courses, you can learn everything. I mean, an investment in a training course, if it's a few £100s and you can learn everything you need to know to actually start your business. And any business, I'm not talking just about balloons, I mean any business, but in our industry, you've got those courses right there. You can go to this course knowing nothing, come out and start a business. So
and Qualitex courses are heavily subsidised. I mean, the prices of courses today are actually less than how much they were sort of 20 plus years ago, because they are subsidised, because from Qualitex's point of view, they want to make sure that people do go on the courses and learn, you know, things properly. So no, it's good.
I've known a few people in the industry and outside the industry that have started their own business after years of working at it part-time or years of wanting to do it. And they said invariably when they decided to go full-time and put everything into it, that's when it started working.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Course.
That's when it happens. And the thing is, if you're worried about quitting a job, if you're worried about leaving something you've been doing for 10 years, you can always go back to it. There's you know, when we started our business, it was when Rachel was on maternity leave, and the whole theory was, well, if it all goes really, really bad, then she just goes back to work. And then I got made redundant anyway, so you know, we didn't really have a choice. But
I think the same analogies can be said for like people investing in equipment. I see people when we do like maybe the spring fair or something, and we're using a really, you know, super duper piece of equipment like the Twin Air, and it's a big investment. It's £1,000, and people say, "Oh gosh, I can never afford that." But once the day that they get it, they say, why did I not buy this a year ago or 2 years ago? Because they can see instantly how it transforms how they, you know, perform as a decorator.
Absolutely.
And how it changes their business. So
yeah. So there's many things that are very intimidating. It all depends on the individual. I think the key is probably just give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Give it a go.
I know when I started, I invested £500 and a friend invested £500, so our opening investment was just £1,000, and we both said yes, if we lose it, we lose it. We never did, and it, you know, it took us a long time to grow it because we didn't get it right, but yeah, once we did, it was great.
I think that's another thing actually. Expect to make mistakes. And I think you said that when you came for your interview last year. Don't expect that every decision you make is going to be the right decision, because it's not.
No.
At all.
Definitely not.
That's key. But don't be frightened. Just give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Right, let's see if we've got any. Have you got any other questions there, Rob, that you saw?
Linda's interested about trends. So she's asking, what's your favourite trend right now, and what are your predicted trends for 2018?
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, this is interesting. I've not asked anybody this question yet. Thank you, Linda.
My favourite trend, I suppose, at the moment is confetti. I'm doing a lot of work with confetti. I mean, teaching and professionally. I've actually got a balloon job next week in London, and I'm making 115 3-foot confetti filled balloons.
Wow.
Not on my own, I hasten to add, but I think it's a fabulous trend, and I think that, and the way people are using it, they're not just using it in 3-foots, they're actually using it in smaller balloons as well, and incorporating it into their designs, and it really adds visual texture and a bit of glitz. And I think one of the big trends, in terms of trends, I'm actually teaching a course at the World Balloon Convention next year, that's called Weddings for the Modern Bride. So all the research that I've been doing at the moment all relates to wedding decor, and what I'm seeing in terms of wedding decor for 2018 is that gold is very much going to feature in it, in not necessarily as a balloon, but it might be as an accent detail. So again, it could be confetti, it could be
so proper gold, not rose gold. Proper gold.
No, gold and rose gold, and being used together, strangely. So the gold is very much, whether it's rose gold or gold, but definitely that, whether it be glitter, confetti, whether it be like tassels or that sort of, it's about visual texture, and it's maybe just an accent. It's not going to be a domineering factor, it's just going to be an accent detail. There are going to be some really fabulous strong colours used next year in weddings. You know, you're going to get your maroons and your navies, which, yeah, definitely. But one of the biggest trends, which has transferred over from this year, is greenery. Greenery was the Pantone colour of the year for 2016. and it's just carrying on. It's just literally, so it's greenery as in colour, but it's also greenery as in plant matter. So being so leaves and ferns and different plant materials being used with balloons is very much a trend. So yeah, I think bubbles are going to remain, you know, the clear look is very, very popular. In terms of other trends, we don't think unicorns are going to go away anytime quickly. I think they're going to stay, but you're going to see not necessarily just pastels. You're going to see stronger tones being used. So where we might be looking at pastel rainbows, you might be just looking at stronger colours there. I think that the sort of tropical trend is going to increase because I don't know if people know where the pineapple trend came from. Do you know where the pineapple trend came from?
I've no idea.
Ah, there you go. That came from the Rio Olympics.
Oh, really?
Because of the whole tropical scene that was going on during the Olympics, and the one thing that came out of that was the pineapple, believe it or not. Yeah. But I think anything of a tropical flavour will continue. So you're going to have like we've got the flamingos and the pineapples. It's going to just expand from there. So anything that you can think of within that tropical sort of genre is going to stay. I wish I knew all of the trends, but I think that, you know, if we all had that crystal ball, we'd be very rich, really. But
I don't think the personalisation is going to go away either.
Personalisation's definitely growing, yeah, I think when the silhouette, that was one of the reasons that going back to my desire to have a shop, was because seeing all these amazing opportunities that we can have as a retailer. I mean, if you've got a die cutter like a Silhouette Cameo, what you can offer your customers just, you know, is fantastic. Yeah. You can really offer them anything, and you know, people are all about personalisation and making it, you know, special for them. So
absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah, I see a lot of that everywhere you go, and some of them amazing. I talked about it on BMTV a few weeks ago and said to people, leave your creations down below, and amazing what the ideas people have to use. Sticky labels, really. It's
really it's really interesting. I was I think it was in Marks and Spencer's, not saying any names, and I think they were doing some personalisation on some of the gifts that they were selling. Okay. So I think that trend for personalising things is not just about, you know, what we're doing. It's obviously the whole concept of having something personalised is huge. So yeah, definitely going to be staying around. But there's lots of places to look for trends. I mean, I do my research. I'm quite specific because obviously I'm looking to teach a wedding course, so I'll go into something like Pinterest and I'll just use some really, you know, keywords that will just bring me to those things. But you know, you could go onto Pinterest and just put 2018 trends, and you have to look outside of our industry, because that's where trends come from. We follow trends, we don't create trends. It's very rare that we would ever create a trend. So our trends come from fashion, they'll come from floristry, they'll come from interior design, homeware, and then suddenly you'll start to see what's filtering through, and then that's when we grasp hold of them and they start filtering into our industry. It's
just by looking outside our own industry that you can see what's going to, you can have a good guess at what's going to happen.
Oh, you can, definitely. And children's clothes, particularly for some of the sort of like the unicorn type things. If you look at the children clothing market, that really can give you a lot of hints of the future. I think bunnies, and there's different things coming up.
Okay, all right, interesting. So there you go. Had a question from Sarah. What would be your best advice for picking up new corporate clients?
Well, it's quite interesting because you have to remember that corporate clients are looking for you as well. So it's not always a one-way street. So that brings me back to Instagram, because Instagram will allow you to reach people that you would never reach in any other way. And it's all due to all your hashtagging. So every time you create say you have a corporate job that you've done, and you get some really good photographs of it. So if you can get a professional photographer involved, or if you've taken some really good ones, make sure that you post them and you hashtag them. Every time you put a hashtag on a photograph, it becomes a live link, and then that will start to go through into different, it sort of filters through into different places. And you know, if you've got a corporate client that is looking for something that you've potentially brought to their attention, then suddenly your photograph is going to appear in their Instagram feed. And it's all about reaction to your photograph. So if you get sort of some good interaction with other people and people are discussing it, will actually bring it up to the top as well. So, you know, and I mean, I remember listening to Colin Stewart talking about corporate clients, and he works incredibly hard, where he makes sure that he does do the cold calling every single day. So if it's that type of corporate client you're looking for, so if you're looking for working in shopping malls or supermarkets or garages, you know, sort of car dealerships, then, you know, a lot of that could be to do with cold calling and just being there on the right day at the right time, when they might be thinking, oh, we really should be planning something for Valentine's Day, or we really should be planning for something this, and you turn up and you've come up, you know, with some ideas. And he produced a fabulous little booklet that he would just take into them and say, you know, this is the sort of thing that we can offer, and give them some statistics about you know, other jobs that he's done, and the reaction, and maybe the percentage growth of, you know, footfall because of his decor. So you know, different strokes for different folks, really.
I think as well, the with LinkedIn, if for instance somebody at a car dealership, and who would be the person that normally arranges those sort of things, find out who that would be. Is it the marketing manager? On LinkedIn, particularly if you've got LinkedIn Premium, you can get to find a name. Once you've got a name, you can contact them, and if it's something that you know they do, then you can just, as you say, get the timing right. If it's something for Valentine's Day, get in there early and say, this is what we can do, or even pop in and see them, ask to talk to them, whatever, but you can actually get a name.
I think a lot of people leave their marketing to their search too late as well. You know, for example, you know, you shouldn't be looking for Christmas and New Year's work now. That's long gone. That was all happening in the summertime. You know, jobs that I'm, you know, doing were signed and sealed off months and months ago. So you know, you should be, Valentine's should be well on your list now. Mother's Day and any of the campaigns, just give yourself at least a 6-month lead to start your campaigns, because you know, people don't decide last minute. They have a budget and they need to do it now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Have we got any more questions over there, Rob, that I've missed?
The only one's from Diane. Can you see those?
No. Diane, are you able to put your question again at all, please? Sorry, it's just gone off our screen. I know we'll be able to see it once this has been posted and we've finished, but for now, I can't see it. So if you want to put that again, you were doing something at the weekend, you had something go wrong with a foil balloon, and then that flick just went off my screen. So if you want to put that in again, we will try and answer that for you. What else have we got? Oh, it's got cramp in my leg. The joy of live Facebook.
A bit like having a tickle.
Yeah, but yeah, I think LinkedIn and things like that, even Facebook, you can find individuals on Facebook and, as you say, Instagram
I think
well.
I agree with you. I mean, finding out who the person is that you need to speak to is a key tool, and I think a lot of us are not quite assertive enough to do that. And you know, but you've got to, I know people that target certain markets, so you know, if you want to work in the you know, creative sector, so there are people that do big events and big shows, like fashion shows and things like that. You know, you've got to get into those channels and find out those people. But I don't personally use LinkedIn. It's not a social media channel that I've ever really. I've got an account, but I haven't really nurtured it in any way. But you know, I think the key thing is to choose the ones that work for you. So if it is Facebook and if it is Instagram or LinkedIn, make sure that you look after them well.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, sometimes you can over dilute yourself and trying to do too many things. And, you know, I work very much on Facebook with the Qualitex groups. I mean, I'm the administrator for Qualitex and the QBN Facebook groups, and it takes a lot of time, you know, to be there, to read them and to answer people's questions. So, you know, if you're going to do that for yourself, you've got to make sure that you do maintain a high level of activity.
Yeah.
And keep people engaged, because, you know, if you're not engaging, you're not going to get into their news feeds, and you're just going to drop off, and people are not going to see your posts.
I think there is something that sometimes people don't want to spend the money on marketing, and money, it might be time on Facebook, for instance, but I mentioned the Facebook advertising earlier on, and the demographic targeting. It should be something that you give. For instance, if you want to target people that have the title of marketing manager within a 20-mile radius of where you are, you can. And it does cost money. That's the thing. You've got to give it a go, and then you've got to tweak it.
But everything else in terms of marketing these days is virtually free.
Yeah.
So it's about the time.
Yeah.
And so obviously your time is money. And, you know, I mean, for example, if you have a shop, your overheads are far greater than if you don't have a shop, because obviously you've got your rents and your rates to pay of your shop.
Yeah.
But you have a shop window, therefore you've got an automatic marketing tool there, as well as everything else that you do. If you work from home, you don't have that shop window, but your overheads are lower. So you've got to consider that you've got to invest money to grow your presence, and the only way you're going to do that is by investing a lot of time or employing somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
It's time or money. It's one or the other.
Definitely
it's one or the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We've not got that question back, I'm afraid. Right, has anybody else got any other questions?
So Erica's going to the WBC next year.
Wonderful.
So she's asking what should she be looking out for, and what's the best advice for getting the most out of the event?
Okay.
So Erica, you want to what's your advice for getting the most out of the WBC event next year?
Well, first of all, well done, because it's going to be an amazing experience for you. The one thing that really kick-started my career and really gave me a push in the right direction and gave me so much energy was by going to a convention. I went to my first convention, which was in Paris many years ago. And so going to WBC, well, you'll get... There's lots of things you can do. First of all, obviously you've chosen your classes, and those are really, really important, and you will get a great deal out of those. But probably one of the things that I would really strongly recommend as well is to get involved in everything else that you can. So for example, I don't know when you're arriving, but you'll probably find that you'll arrive at the hotel, drop your bags into your room, and then once you go to where the convention is, you'll be able to get involved. So there'll be some sort of decor build. There'll be for the lobby decoration, or even the party decor gets started very, very early on. And so all I can recommend is just take every single opportunity you can to get hands-on and get involved, because not only will you learn some really exciting things and lots of great techniques, you'll start to meet friends and make sort of new friends and
connections.
Absolutely. And those are the things that when you come to the end of the convention, you will take away with you. It's not just what you learn there. It's all the great experiences, learning with other people, all the chats that you have with them, and these people are around from all over the world. So you now have this great network of friends that you can email, contact, FaceTime them, whatever you want to do, and just say, I've got a problem, we went on that class, can't remember how to do this, and it is just fabulous. So get 100% involved in everything you possibly can. Don't expect to get much sleep, because there's just too much going on 24/7.
I hear Ted and Betty party large.
There's lots of amazing parties, but honestly, every single night there'll be some sort of activity where you can get involved, and whether it's as I said, decorating, or it might be like a jamming session, learning to twist, and you'll just get hundreds of people playing and twisting. Just the networking is phenomenal. I just think you'll just have such a great time. You will not feel lonely at all. You will make so many new friends, and even to the point like the competitions will be going on, and there will be teams that will have spaces for additional people to go and join them. Every single opportunity you can get, and experience you can get there. It's the biggest injection of energy and adrenaline you'll ever have from a convention like that. I love WBC. You'll have an amazing time.
One of the things we talked about when you were here last year, I was listening to the podcast version of it again yesterday, and it was about putting yourself outside your comfort zone. And that's a great opportunity to do that. You're in a safe environment. Just go for it. Just do crazy stuff you'd never consider doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I did, and I mean it's not for everybody, but the very first convention I went on, and every other convention that I went on afterwards, I entered all the competitions, and that really was putting myself out of my comfort zone, because I had no concept of what was expected of me, what makes a good competition piece, what makes a bad piece. But you know what, it gave me so much more from that. I felt that I gained so much more. I mean, the first convention that we did, the one in Paris, I think we just laughed and we laughed and we laughed, because we would see what everybody else was doing, and then we'd look at what we were doing. We're thinking, okay, well, that's maybe not the right standard, but we had a go. And because we had a go, we were very proud of what we achieved. So no, definitely put yourself out there as well. It's going to be one of the best weeks of your life, really.
There you go. So we've had a question from Phoebe. I think we might have covered some of this. I'm setting up a balloon company and a website as well. Any tips on taking good pictures of my balloon work at home? Do I need to hire a professional photographer to do that? You sort of said a professional photographer helps. No, but if you're doing stuff from home, make sure you've got a decent backdrop. And one of the tips that I was given by an instructor once was good old IKEA. They sell some amazing blinds that are very inexpensive, roll down blinds, and you can get a really good size backdrop, and as long as you can rig it in a way, you can have a really good backdrop, and then you can just sweep it onto a table. So you've got a seamless, which looks really good. Lighting is very important, because obviously you don't want to create too many shadows. So maybe look into some inexpensive lighting, but you'll need some lighting, definitely, and potentially just learn some basic skills on photography. A good camera. I mean, definitely. I think that we've all become very used to taking photographs on our iPhones or our cell phones, and the quality is going to be what it is. I mean, I know some of them these days are phenomenal quality. They are getting crazy now, But depending on what you're trying to achieve, I've got a really good friend in the balloon industry, and her photography is stunning. And I look at what she takes a photo of, and I think I wouldn't have ever taken it at that angle. And why would she? But it just makes her work stand out from everybody else's. And there's such a clever eye, and she did an online photography course and bought a decent camera, and so she's just learnt specifically because of her business. It's like you said earlier, equipment. The more you invest in the equipment, the better the product's going to be. So. But when I see people posting photographs of a design that they've made, and it's on their kitchen table, and then they've got a kettle in the background, and they haven't really considered everything else. I think that's where the people that do make the effort have a backdrop, decent, lighting. I mean, I'm not into Photoshop. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I did discover a free program called GIMP, which is GIMP, and I spent a little time playing with that, and I learned how to edit my own photographs and take away some of the background and do some altering. I also use a program which used to be free, unfortunately it's not anymore, called PicMonkey, and I think it's
quite an inexpensive program, but again, it allows you to make some alterations and create some really nice pictures. So nothing's for free. It takes time and maybe a little bit of an investment, but you know, I think that it helps me to produce some nice things as well.
Yeah. So yes, you don't necessarily need a professional photographer, but you want to invest in yourself, in some equipment.
I mean, you might find that there is, you can do something, a mutual benefit with a stylist, you know, contact somebody who wants to do some sort of stylist shots, and you might be able to do a deal with them. You know, hotels will often allow you to do a room setting if they can take photographs of the room for their marketing as well. So you can sometimes do deals with people.
Yeah.
You know, talk to local photographers, see if they'll do anything with you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, Yvonne says, got to go as work calls. So bye Yvonne, if you've not gone already. And Erica says, thanks Sue, can't wait now.
Good.
Looking forward to WBC.
I can't wait to see you.
Right, Rob, have we got any more questions? No. Okay, another one's just come up. Phoebe says thank you. Going back to social media, would you recommend putting price on posts for balloon deliveries, etc.? That's interesting.
Okay, the pricing issue is a very interesting one, and my concept is, if I see something that doesn't have a price on it, it means it's too expensive. It's a mindset, and you know, if I go down a high street and I look in a shop window and I see something like a coat or some shoes or in the window, but they haven't put a price on it, then I generally walk on. And
if you've got to ask the price, it's too expensive for you. That's sort of mindset.
It's just, and you ask most people that, you know, that if they don't see a price, will they go in there? Some people go, of course I would, but I think we're not a confident nation to do that. And it's just a thing. So for me, if I saw something posted and I saw a really beautiful design and it said something like prices started from £25, automatically you're capturing the interest of people who go, oh, that's reasonable, or that works for me, that's within my price range, or and you're striking a chord with them. I think you're better to post prices than not to, definitely.
I think the same thing you're doing there is you're also putting off the people that would not pay that price as well. And if they're not going to pay the price, then you don't really want them contacting you and taking up your time. So it does exactly that. So
just filter out.
I concur, I say.
Good.
Put your prices out there.
Yeah, no, I do. I really am very much of that opinion.
Yeah, excellent.
Good.
Okay. Phoebe says, thanks Sue. Tahira says, thank you so much. Amanda, thank you both for your time today. You've added much to my business, both my decor skills and business side, through your blogs and videos, and presence in the industry. Very welcome.
Thank
and
you.
Rachel says thank you. Right, we're getting close to 1 o'clock, so I think we're going to wrap it up. Sue, thank you very much. It's been great.
Pleasure.
I don't know where that hour has gone.
I don't either.
It is absolutely.
It sounded like an awfully long time.
Absolutely flown. But I hope you've got some benefit from this. As I said in the intro or on BMTV, that Sue's an absolute genius when it comes to this industry, and I think just telling your story and you've done it, so I think it really helps people. So
I'm just a very ordinary person who just loves what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just very passionate about this industry, and so
that comes across. So Sue, thank you very much
Thank
for this.
you.
Thank you all for watching, and hopefully see you very soon. Bye bye.
Bye.